Welcome to the Legion Outriders podcast, your source for the latest Legion news, opinion, and analysis. And now, the Outriders.
Hello, Outriders, and welcome to episode 152 of the Legion Outriders podcast. I'm Outrider Matt.
This is Outrider Dan. Wondering, we didn't get very much research into the Bacardi episode last episode. I think this still warrants more investigation.
So we're doing episode 151 plus one?
Yes.
Okay, are we just starting a new countdown date? Okay. Dan loves to count.
I do love to count.
Yes. Welcome, guys. This is our first attempt at a fully remote recording session. Well, outside of the twosie we did during COVID, but still.
Yeah. So
this will be the shape of the show. So we're trying. I don't have my best microphone. I'm going to be living officially in California as of the middle of April right now. So things are packed up, ready to go, but we're going to make it work between now and then because Dan's awesome and can't be stopped. He's a juggernaut.
So if we're a little inconsistent on releases, we apologize, but we'll try to get out as best we can.
We'll get it locked down, but we got a lot to talk about today.
We've had so much
lots
stuff
of
come
reveals
out.
And news and all that stuff. But before we get started, we want to take a second to, of course, thank our patrons that make recording and publishing this show possible. Specifically, we'd like to thank Kyle Allison, a.k.a. Tumnus. Did you know, Dan, that when Tumnus isn't spending time with his family or playing Legion, he's guiding lost English children through wintry forests? He's also mastered. Go ahead.
I'm sure he uses Legion as his method of
enticing them into the wintry forest. Yes. Somebody else already cornered the market on Turkish delights, I guess. So Legion, I guess, would be the next best. He's also mastered the playing of the pan flute and actually taught Zamfir everything he knows.
Wow.
Do you even know who Zamfir is?
No, I don't.
Zamfir, master of the pan flute. That's how you know I'm old. But anyways, so thank you, Kyle Allison. This episode's featured Outrider. If you are enjoying the show and would like to support it, head on over to patreon.com/Legion Outriders. On today's show, well, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We already mentioned. I
mean, there was this little thing in Chicago. It was a small event.
I believe it's pronounced Chicago.
Yes. Or the locals say Chicago. But
how many people did you just outrage?
I could say something bad about deep dish pizza. I'm sure I piss more off, but anyway.
Wow. I love all pizza. All pizza is beautiful in my eyes. Except Sbarro's, you suck.
Oh.
Just kidding. I don't know. Mr. Sbarro, please accept my apologies. Please sponsor the show. Anyways. Okay, so let's go and start it off with some Star Wars news.
Yes, so I'm sure we're going to have... Oh, yes. I mean, Mando's doing awesome.
Yeah. Oh, Bad Batch.
A few setup episodes, but the most recent one of Mando really, really bringing the action together. But yeah, Bad Batch. Oof, right in the feels. Man, I didn't think they'd go that dark for, a kids cartoon. Not really a kids cartoon.
Okay, if I can redirect you to the very first episode of Clone Wars where somebody gets their head chopped off. They set the tone. It's just been inconsistent.
Like beginning of Rebels, beginning of Clone Wars, everyone's we're gonna go get a box of fruit. And the end of Rebels,
I've got a magic slingshot. Why do I have to go back in time to save my dead master?
Spoilers.
They can't? Oh, get out of here.
So it depends on how much of that they use in the Ahsoka series. But
be curious.
But yeah, we'll probably have a lot more news next episode because as of recording, the next weekend will be Star Wars Celebration 2023 in London this year. Man, it was already been a year. It feels like we were just talking about when you went.
It's been a little bit less than a year.
Okay. Oh, that's right. It was when was it last year?
I think it was May.
It was May. Okay, so a little,
yeah,
like a
I don't
month.
know. It's all just under a year, but
Yeah,
still, yeah.
It still feels like us talking about when you got to do the Super Jedi Master Badge and still got in line for all the convention exclusives, and they were still gone before you got there.
Yeah, somewhere.
Some of them,
I got a fair share. It's fine.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
But I know we couldn't make it out to London this year, but
Maybe
one of our
next year.
patrons.
Yes.
One of our patrons, yes.
Our buddy Cornwolf is heading on out there, so we're going to see if we can maybe tap him to come on and talk about that a little bit, because, we like to talk about just general Star Wars nerddom too, if you haven't noticed.
And, if you happen to make it to the AMG booth for some exclusives, think about your old
You
pals.
should absolutely send it to Outrider Matt and not Outrider Dan. No, we could split it. You could get Vader.
Yeah, exactly.
I could get Luke, and we could fight to the death over Palp.
Yeah, I'm curious if that Palpatine is actually on a base. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves in the notes here, or if it's just part of the diorama. But for those who don't know what the heck we're talking about, AMG posted on all their socials that the next con exclusive model, which is kind of following the vein of what they're doing with those MCP kind of diorama things, where it's the where it's the throne room scene in Return of the Jedi, where you got Mr. Papa Palps looking at a exclusive sculpt of Vader and Luke dueling it out.
Where they put that giant throne chair right underneath the vent.
Yeah. Hey, Crayola. I'd use your staff of raw.
I'm so glad you got that.
Robot Chicken is canon and did happen, in my opinion.
Yes.
But anyway, an aluminum falcon. Anyway, yeah.
Now that we're completely derailed,
I'm waiting for the first table shots of an in-game where someone's actually using it as terrain. But
everybody's fighting in front of the Emperor for his enjoyment.
But they said yes, it is a diorama of that with exclusive Luke and Vader. Also, they did say in the post that the set comes with relative unit command cards, unit cards, and command cards featuring exclusive alternate art. So they will be alt art cards.
Okay, cool.
I just hope it's more alt art than the previous con exclusives, where they are only art they changed is the portrait in the upper right hand corner. So
I would expect that's all they're going to do.
I mean, it's technically alternate art.
It is.
There's different art on there. Yeah. It's just the portrait art.
We did exactly what we said we were going to do. Yeah. There's art, and then there's an alternate art. So.
Yeah. So the official post on the Atomic Mass Transmissions on their website only says celebration, but I think they let a little more slip on Twitter, where they said it'll also be a Gen Con.
Yes, the Twitter post, which is still up, does mention both places. So if you're going to Gen Con and think about your old friend the Outriders, maybe we have a second shot there.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got for Star Wars news?
Well, for what has been announced for Celebration, I was looking over some of the panels that have been announced, and of course, there's two ones that I'm looking forward to. Of course, first is the Parks panel, which is on Sunday the 9th from 4 to 5 p.m. The reason I'm looking for that is because the last year's Parks panel, I was told that I would be getting new scenes for Star Tours. I haven't seen those yet, Disney. I need an update on that right now.
He's got questions that need answers now. Disney. Did Bob Chapek take them in his briefcase when he left? Where is that footage?
Part of his, $7 million golden parachute package, I'm sure.
I want 15% of the new Star Tours. Right.
But anyway, the parks panels are always good, though, because, there's some question marks about how they're going to do some of things in the park, like what's happening with Galactic Star Cruiser. There's rumors they may be adjusting that experience based on, some of the bookings that they're having.
I still really want to go to that, but man, that's money.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And of course, since they've now introduced Mando and Boba Fett and Fennec Shand into the Galaxy's Edge area, they're kind of blurring the timeline a little. So what other characters could they bring out? What other experiences could they do? So hopefully Disney will announce something fun.
Matt the radar technician? Nobody knows.
Yeah. The other panel, of course, is yes, AMG will have a panel at Celebration. Cool. It'll be on Monday the 10th from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. I'm assuming these times that they've listed, by the way, are probably local to the con. Not we'll have to
the
do some math. Yeah, have to figure out what it is here back in
it's
us
plus
Yanks.
8 for Pacific.
Yeah,
so they just had their daylight savings.
So the description of the panel was very generic. It's just called From Screen to Tabletop. So I mean, we'll get to it in a little bit of what was announced at Adepticon, but they've announced so much already, so I don't think they have too much more they could announce.
I think that's probably going to be more like, hey, this is the design process, how we go and see something cool on the screen and bring it to the tabletop.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, I mean, I'm just expecting previews / info about Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, Acolyte. That's all the stuff that's in production or ready to go now. Probably Indiana Jones 5 stuff will be shown off.
Oh yeah, God, that's still not out, is it?
Yeah, no, there. Some of the Hollywood rumors around that are fun too. And hopefully we'll hear about a movie, because some of the trades were talking about, some movies and writers moving around and some movies being officially canceled. So yes, it has been announced that Rian Johnson's trilogy has been officially canceled.
No!
After 5 years.
No! Damn it! He's probably going over to DC.
No, that's James Gunn from the...
Oh, he's going too.
Yeah, he's going to. No, Rian Johnson he's just doing his own Knives Out stuff. Yeah. He's focusing on that. So
that makes sense.
So if you are going to Celebration and happen to be, well, not you, our listeners.
Okay, capital Y. I got it.
Yes, if you are going to Celebration, definitely let us know how it went. Shoot us a message. Post on Facebook. Yeah, come on the Discord. So I know you've been busy.
Oh God, yeah. Depressingly busy. But things are actually going to calm down again and then get crazy again and then hopefully calm down after that again. It's going to be a roller coaster of emotions for the next couple of weeks, but I am so ready to be done with this whole process that's been going for over a year at this point.
Jeez. Yeah, moving sucks.
Yeah. No, our house was on the market for like almost 6 months before it finally sold. So, yeah. I am now completely gray. But luckily, I've got a good friend in the Ewoks, Logray, who's got some tips for coloring in your hair again.
Ah, yes, of course.
But yeah. So Legion news coming in.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, lately I'm still playing a heck of a lot of Spec Ops. I haven't done any 100-point games yet since LVO. But I have been printing more of the Batu table because my goal is to get that ready for LVO next year. Because a little inside baseball news on LVO next year, they're looking to expand it, so they're going to need more tables. So cranking out a few, and I'm seeing what locals can contribute even more this year. So, or this coming year. So,
I want to get to the point where we become a headache for the frontline open guys. They're like, they keep wanting more and more space. Where are we going to put them? So keep adding tables.
Yeah. Are we going to push another couple games out of the hall that we're in? Nice.
Sorry, Game of Thrones. Get out of here. Hit the bricks.
But yeah, looking forward to that. I've been doing the combination of two Batu themed 3D print sets. The Itachi Station terrain set made by Jason. That's an awesome set, and I've got most of that printed. But over at Corvus, Steve there, he made one very large. Took me 3 weekends to print it. Dual building with a bridge in between them that looks amazing. And I put some pictures. I recently put that on the board. Put some pictures on the Outrider Discord of a game played on that. So
nice.
It's awesome.
I think it's mostly impressive that you're just printing out all these thousands of tiny scale bricks and then building the sets from there.
Oh no, I'm not doing a Ferrix table.
Batu. God, man, that joke doesn't work at all.
No.
Disregard. Oh.
Jeff was printing the Ferric Stable.
That's what it was.
Why.
That's the Spire Outpost.
Yes.
Dan, I'm very tired.
But anyway, back to the list here. AMG showed off some things at Adepticon.
They did.
I mean, other than having, the World Championships. We'll talk a little bit about that later.
Yes. We do have an interview with Nick Post, who finished best in faction for Rebels and 11th overall. Very good showing. So stay tuned for that interview. Really, really cool guy, and can't wait to hear what he has to say. Yeah. But let's look at these pictures of minis that are someday coming out.
No, I mean, well, some of them sooner than others. So they had a presentation, and I forgot to mention Endless David over on Yavin Base there. He, of course, was streaming the entire World Championship. I don't know if it was fortuitous timing or if it was planned, but one round ended, and then he rated the one stream that was doing this reveal. So it was literally it was perfect timing that he just dumped all of us world's viewers onto that. So we all got to watch the Adepticon presentation that AMG was doing, where they were showing off what is coming up. And
it's nice for Dave to give him that kind of bump, give him some clout notoriety. I mean, your Yavin Base is rating your channel. I mean, that's got to feel pretty good for them. Oh yeah,
and he beat some of his viewer numbers. I think he had over 600 on the final.
Boom,
which is great. Yeah,
that is sick.
So yeah, any of you, if you do watch Yavin Base, or just David goes to all these events, it's all community funded what he does. So please go there, subscribe, go on his Patreon. I'm on his Patreon, but we're not sponsored, of course. But yeah, definitely go over there and support him, man, because he is doing so much for the community.
Hell yeah! All right.
So
reveals.
Anyway,
people have had like a week to percolate with this stuff.
But still,
we're going to bring your attention to it anyways, just in case.
Yeah. So Ahsoka, although I think we had the release date for her. She's coming out in May. We got a picture of her card. 165 points, jump, charge, defend 1, deflect, immune pierce, and Jarakai mastery. Nothing really groundbreaking, but we already knew that she would have the same mastery as Ventress that was announced before. A lot of the chatter I've heard about it is people are just waiting for those command cards to see how that works.
Yeah. Having 2 force powers, and then that's going to be
trainings.
Yeah. And then the 2 trainings as well. No master of the force. No master of the force. Yeah. Okay. But still.
Have to. I didn't ask Jeff yet who he's going to be putting Ahsoka with Sabine, with Luke, R2. What operative combination are we doing here?
Who knows? But forget about Snips there.
Well, that's Fulcrum Snips. Yes. So the Ewoks, they are coming. Oh boy,
yes. They've been coming for 3 years now.
It's been 3 years.
I don't know. I'm just picking a number. It feels like it's been at least 3 years. Probably has been about. But
it was mini Stravaganza 1 or 2. Now I got to go check the archives.
Do you though?
Yeah.
Let's just lean into hyperbole. 1 million years ago. Okay. Wicket.
Commander Wicket.
Yep.
Yep. I actually expected Wicket to be an operative. I'm actually surprised he's a commander for that.
That is. Hey, it's Battle Force, I guess. So you got to have your Ewok liaison.
There's going to be low
grade. We're not listening to Han. Forget it.
Yeah. But anyway, 70 points, which is insane. I mean, point values is relatively low.
He's got a lot of keywords on there.
Yes, he does. And he is a mercenary for Rebels, so he can go in any Rebel squad, too. Oh, Ewoks are just going to get ridiculous. I know so much.
Everybody needs more murder bears.
Yes.
Imagine if George Lucas had gone with the initial script idea of having Wookiees. We'd be all the poorer for it right now.
Yes. And for those 70 points, 3 training slots.
He's out there. He's doing his
Yes.
run through the forest, swinging from vines. It's like Luke's Jedi training, but he's been doing it his entire life.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, independent dodge 1, low profile and nimble, relentless. Scout 1 with scouting party 2, sharpshooter 2. So yeah, he's hitting everything with that sling, and unhindered. I'm at a loss here. This thing is it's
so
just crazy.
The one thing, yeah, primitive.
Yeah, so the sling.
What's primitive?
We do not know yet. Has not been officially put on anything official. So yeah, I'm curious too. I mean, there's a lot of speculation is that it'll go through shields or not work against armor, or I mean,
that would make sense. I'm sorry, I don't care how accurate you are with your sling. You're not cracking any of that stuff. But who knows?
But yeah, red, black, Pierce 1 and melee with a spear. Man, he puts the murder in Murder Bear.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow. Oh, it's just I'm hoping that they go the same level of ridiculous with the rest of these Ewoks.
Maybe it's because he's in a command slot that they can go a little nuts because they know you can't get too much else in there. But yeah, we got low gray. There he is. He's got suppressive. We know that.
Oh yeah, so they showed the front of the card of Wicket, but only the back for low gray.
They're saving the best for last.
Oh, is low gray the best?
Well, clearly. Until they get a Paplu figure, obviously.
Oh, of course.
Who's your favorite Ewok? Tell me, Dan.
Oh, the one that's the one that's trying to wake his friend up.
Oh, the sad Ewok! You monster! Oh,
it's Empire Man.
The sad Ewok. I'm gonna go with his friend.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we got command cards in there too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, most of the pictures we've seen are it's a stream of a projection, a projector in a well-lit room. So
it's not the easiest to make out the text, but
yeah, we did find though that the name of the battle force is going to be called Bright Tree Village because all these say Bright Tree Village only. And one of the cards is called Log Traps. And it does show the 2 logs smashing
trapping,
the
yes.
Yeah. I'm actually pulling them up on Tabletop Admiral because they have them slightly better. This round, at the start of the activation phase, a Ewok Trooper unit that contains the Ewok Trapper Mini may make the attack listed below. 1-4, Impact 4, Pierce 1. 2 red, 3 black. So it's basically a bombard card.
Go for it. Hell yes.
Oh, man. But I love these. I love the names of these two. The Arboreal Assault.
Arboreal Assault. I thought it said Imperial Assault at first. I was like, a little sad. Oh, Arboreal. Okay.
Then Hiding in Plain Sight, and then For the Tribe. And that For the Tribe artwork, just with that angry Ewok face from the front.
Just covered in the blood of stormtroopers.
Yeah. I've seen this art before. I think this was probably the LCG or something that reused this art.
Yeah, it would make sense. They got a lot of sets.
But no, the greatest reveal for the Ewoks is another commander. Well, but yes, Chewbacca ATSD we knew about, but they did show the back of the card on that, and it looks like it's a standard ATSD if it's front impact. But the Golden God.
Wow.
I do believe it's against my programming to impersonate a deity.
Well, he got over that real quick. What is that
Yes.
40 points?
40 points. Is the Ewok Battle Force going to be like 500 points only or something?
It's going to be 18 activations, 12-person squads.
Jesus.
So, yeah, 3PO, the Golden God himself, has an action, Master Storyteller. Choose, help me out with this if you got a better copy of it.
Yeah, it says choose up to X friendly Ewok units at range 1, where X is the current round number. Each chosen unit gains 2 surge tokens. So on round 6, he chooses 6 units that each get 2 surge tokens. That's 12 surge tokens on round 6.
And let's be fair, if you still got 6 units of Ewoks around for...
And 3PO.
And 3PO.
Well, we'll
you're
get to that a little bit
probably
later.
winning already. Or maybe you're just really waiting to spring your trap.
So the formatting on this is a little weird. We're not sure exactly what this means yet. Compel Ewok Trooper, comma, infiltrate. So I don't know if that means that 3PO has infiltrate, or if the compel an Ewok Trooper that has infiltrate.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Curious how that formatting is going to work on there.
That is kind of weird.
Yeah.
All right.
And then Divine Influence. While within range 1 of 3PO, Ewok Trooper units gain Guardian 2 C3PO. While using Guardian, they may cancel crits as though they were hits. So they protect. All the Ewoks within range 1 of 3PO have Guardian 2 Protector. 3PO.
Wow. This is all sorts of messed up, I gotta say.
Oh, and
it's against my programming to impersonate a deity, but throw your fuzzy bodies in front of their blaster bolts. I don't care how many of you little rats I have to sacrifice. Goldenrod is making it out of here alive.
Oh, and I believe I'm going to double check myself on this, but if you look at the bottom of the card, you'll find something interesting.
Nothing.
He has no weapon profile. Not even a clumsy kick.
Not even falling out of his chair and hurting somebody on accident.
Yes. But this is not the first unit to have it. Some people are saying this is the first. The AA5 speeder truck technically does not have any weapon on its card. Just has the hard point, but...
So unless the Battle Force allows you to have extra commanders in there, Wicket and 3PO are it. That's your command team.
Yeah, yes. I mean, you can mix... I'm sure they'll have others that you can mix and match, like Chief Chirpa, or I don't know if Logray is going to be an operative, or... Because he's more of a shaman, so probably more of a support Buffy kind of guy. But Ewoks are looking more and more ridiculous the more and more they show of it.
Let's get one of those little Quickling guys from Battle for Endor. Little zip zap zoop dudes.
Oh,
I'm sure he's got a name. I just don't care. All right, rolling on.
Yeah, so Ewoks. Oh, it's going to be hilarious. I know you got excited when you saw this one for the Separatists.
Yes. Well, I wasn't. I was surprised. Because Geonosians. Little flappy Vespid guys coming our way. Yeah,
and we'll be a battle force, and those models look awesome. Like they're really doing the flying without flight stands thing.
I can hear their wings.
Oh yeah, so you just have to play a white noise wing generator when you're playing this to keep
those
your
guns
opponent on
are so
edge.
distinct. Oh man, having Republic Commando flashbacks right now.
Oh, nice. But yes, they it was stated that they will be their own battle force, as well as corps or troopers for the CIS.
And they're going to feature all the great characters that you come to know and love.
Yeah, Poggle the Lesser,
but not Poggle the Greater. They couldn't get him, so just Poggle the Lesser.
And they did name drop Sun Fac as well, so that's a deep cut.
Wow.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just know them from the Galaxy of Heroes, the mobile game that I used to play.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was also a pilot in X-Wing for the Nantech fighter.
Oh, that's right. You right. Nice one. Now, the ones I was actually excited for, even though it's a faction that I don't really play very much, Inquisitors.
Thank
you.
I couldn't cue up the sound. The da. No one expects the Imperial Inquisition.
In fact, those who do expect it.
Yes.
No. So we've got, these are the rebels Inquisitors, right? So we got Sarah Michelle Gellar and Shark Boy.
Yeah. Slightly off topic. I did read the Jedi Survivor, the novel that's in between the two games.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. How was it?
And minor spoilers. Fifth Brother is in it, and there are many comments made by Cal about his hat.
That seems like a very Cal thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so it'll be Fifth Brother and Seventh Sister. They showed the models for the Inquisitors themselves. But of course, Seventh Sister is known for having those little ID probe droids. So
right.
I'm hoping she has them as a detachment or something. What can I say? I love, you know,
you do.
It's Iden adjacent having the droids. And other interesting thing they did with the Inquisitors there was the little spinny lightsaber effects. So they're
that's right. They got little sweeps going on there. So
yeah,
that's kind of neat.
Which I've heard some people mention if you don't like them, pretty easy just to shave them off. But yeah, I mean I don't know if this is the
iconic thing that they do with those little spinny sabers. So I get they're trying to communicate it. Waiting for Jeff to motorize it now so it actually spins.
Or at least somebody who does acrylic out there can get basically a circle or a disc of red.
What I want to know is, are they actually going to be able to fly with them like Mary Poppins?
If they don't have jump 2 as part of or at least a command card that says spinny lightsaber gains jump 2.
Okay, moving on.
So yes,
then we've got the reveal for the new starter faction box for Resistance versus the First Order that's going to be coming in about 3 years now. 2-player starter box featuring everybody's favorite, Rey and Kylo. So
I thought that was Matt, the radar technician.
He can cameo. That's fine.
No, it's the Star Championship box.
Oh. Yeah, that's fine too, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess it is April 1st, and that was my feeble attempt.
Oh, okay.
And we are recording on April 1st. You are not listening to this on April 1st. So.
No. But yes, they showed the Store Championships are back. And they announced that the championship cycle now is going to be May the 4th through Adepticon. And they said they're going to repeat that as much as they can. So sounds awesome to have a defined season there. And this kit is interesting because they announced that they'll have alt arts, tarot card sized alt arts for the characters up there. So they got Vader, Grievous, Chewie, Gar Saxon, Yoda, and Boba Fett.
That's all the Shatterpoint MCP size cards, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. I wonder if they got a bulk deal at the printer. Well, hell, since we're already doing some runs.
Has the World Championship invite with my man Palpatine on there. So I don't think you watched the Armada portion of this presentation. Because yes, Armada is still a thing. They are still doing things.
I am so happy they did that.
But their invite, the opposite side of the card, is a 4x6 Super Star Destroyer unit card.
Wow.
So, supersized card for a supersized.
I say it's probably bigger than most of the ships in Armada.
Yeah. The kit will also come with some regular sized alt arts for units. The picture showed some pikes, and the most interesting alt art that I never even thought they would do an alt art. Those are battle cards with alternate art on them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So that is, yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have any, so now we do.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of things that still need alt arts, but
did they say how many players is supported with the kit?
I don't believe so. If they did, I did not catch it.
Okay. I would assume it's probably, I think they go up to like
60,
32?
32 or 64.
Yeah,
I mean, those
like
are pretty hefty stacks of cards on there.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. They should be. Most stores will probably have extras to hand out. So.
Yeah, yeah. And at this part of the presentation, Will was pretty much like, yeah, so that's everything. You know, got all the factions. You know, the Ewoks is a faction, and
Will.
Genasians are a faction. So, yeah, they had one last slide that they showed, and it was just the Clone Force 99 logo.
Woo!
Ooh, yeah. So Bad Batch is coming to Legion. I can just look at the models and I'm just thinking in my head, Hunter, Omega,
Omega, yeah. Season 2 finale.
Echo. Oh, so yeah, did announce this will be a dual faction box, so it will be both Republic and Rebel.
Makes perfect sense.
Jeff is happy. He only has to paint him once and use both of his armies.
Well, no, he's not happy because there's very different paint schemes between the different timelines.
True. And you know, I'm just curious. I'm like, oh, the Crosshair. You know, he was Imperial. Let's get me an Imperial Crosshair here. Throw an Imperial card in there for Crosshair, please. Now they'll probably just be swapping out. If it's Republic, it's going to have the clones, and if it's Rebel, it's going to have Omega in it minus Crosshair. So to swap those two for whichever you're in.
But love character units, want to see more of this kind of thing.
Oh yes,
and I'm really glad that it's coming for Rebels and the Gar.
So yeah, I am very excited for the Inquisitors, of course.
Yeah, because there's some really, really hot releases they're teasing out here.
Of course,
who got left behind? Did somebody not get anything?
No, I mean Rebels got shown Ahsoka, Ewoks, and Bad Batch, and then
so lots of Rebel
CIS got Geonosians, and Empire got Inquisitors. So nothing new for Shadow Collective, but
nothing new there.
Yeah. So yeah, they did have also a big presentation for Shatterpoint.
Yes, they did.
Oh yeah,
and
which
they put some. They did announce that GCW is going to be coming to Shatterpoints, not just going to be exclusively Clone Wars.
Yeah, which
it's going to be down the line, which I'm sure we all figured was going to happen.
Oh yeah, I mean, before the confirmation though, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get into Shatterpoint because I'm a Civil War guy.
Yeah,
I'm not so much in. I mean, I love Clone Wars, but I'm not as much into that.
Yeah.
And then when they showed the Vader box, and I'm like, and then they showed the Inquisitors box, and
then they showed R2-D2 with a drink tray.
Yes.
You've got me.
And then they had to go, we're going to show Far Future, and they had a render of Iden.
Oh,
and I'm like, my wallet just went, oh hell, here we go again.
oh hell. Yeah, lots of good stuff coming down the pipe on all sorts of Star Wars stuff.
Right. We've received actually questions from locals, from our patrons, from our own Outriders, the John and Jeff and all them. Are we going to do an Outrider Shatterpoint cast? And official answer is don't know yet.
I didn't hear any of this before, so I'm the edge of my seat waiting for an answer. I was
Jeff has asked me. John has asked me. We got messages on Facebook asking us. We've got so yeah.
Wow, I don't know. It is something we are considering for sure, because obviously it is Legion adjacent. We love Legion.
We love Star Wars.
We love Star Wars.
Yeah.
But hey, let us know. What do you think? Would there be room in the ecosystem for the Outriders to branch out a little bit? We'll see. We're going to think about it. We want to make sure we wouldn't reduce the amount of recording, since we do basically every other week right now as it is. Maybe we could just do some. I don't know.
We'll figure something out.
We're considering it. So thank you for the folks that are contacting Dan on Facebook.
Well, you've been busy, like I said. I know.
Yeah, and I'm not on Facebook, so unless you tell me something's happening, I just don't know. But anyways, guys, so Worlds was last weekend. We're going to be back in just a minute with Nick Post to talk about his experience there. It's a hell of a thing, apparently, this Worlds, but we'll be right back. Hey guys, Matt here to tell you about our friends over at 6UP Supply. If you're like me and don't have access to your own 3D printers, 6UP Supply has you covered with a whole suite of printing services to bring those awesome files to life. The Outriders are proud to be partnered with 6UP, and you could find special themed terrain, gear, and tokens with a big discount for Patreon members in the Outrider Central section of the website. And that's not all. You can also get terrain bases, game supplies, tools, LED kits, and more. Stuff is being added all the time. So stop by the number 6upsupply.com and use coupon code OUTRIDER to save 10% on your next order, and let them help you up your game.
You are receiving the Legion Outriders podcast. Ending the transmission now would be most unfortunate. And now, the Outriders.
Welcome back, Outriders. Matt and Dan here with you, and we've got the World's Championships of Adepticon coverage, and our on-the-ground field reporter this happened last weekend? So
That's correct.
Very late-breaking news, but Nick Post is joining us today, and the faction leader of Rebels. So,
Dirty Rebels.
Dirty
Yay!
Rebels.
Oh, okay.
Rebel scum.
Were you the only Rebels player?
No, there were others. I saw others. My day one, we were both 1-1, and I had to knock them out to make day two cut. So
very sad.
Yeah, it was very sad. It's very sad when you have to take out another Rebel, but had to be done.
Still, you're out there repping for the Rebels, so good, big props there. But really, we just kind of want to know I've never been to Worlds. Dan's never been to Worlds. We'll probably never go to Worlds. What was your experience at Worlds? Let us live vicariously through you.
Well, since last year wasn't quote unquote Worlds, like it was Worlds without being Worlds, right? You still had a lot of folks coming from overseas, so. Last year at Adepticon, it was basically almost the same exact feel as Adepticon last year, except without the quote-unquote Worlds handle tag to it, right?
Okay. Do you get out to Adepticon quite often, or is that your usual?
Yep. I have a wife and 5-year-old now, and I get the one trip. And generally speaking, I try to make Adepticon that one trip, but honestly, it really did feel a lot like Adepticon last year. I want to say probably a little bit, I don't want to say more structured, but there was a little bit more energy in the room because it, because it had that Worlds tag associated to it. But last year there was a few more Rebels in the top 16.
Out of 128 players, there were 22 Rebels.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad that you had to cannibalize each other a little bit with at least your one game.
Yeah, I built, because the thing is, I built my list to fight Empire, and I, for the most part, fought Empire. But then, the one Rebel player that that's the other Rebel player that's there. Oh, hey, you have to fight him. No,
it's like the Kirk and Spock episode where they have to fight each other to the death, and it's just like, I don't want to kill you, but I also don't want to die.
It's like one of us has to go on, so I guess I just make it be me, I guess.
That's cool. Well, let's go over a little bit about what we can take away from Worlds this year. So I see Luke Cook, a newcomer to the scene.
Yeah, anyone heard of this guy before?
I don't know. He might be worth watching. Yeah. But he successfully defended his title and is the Legion World Champion again.
He was running 5 years now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or 4,
effectively,
maybe.
Yes. 796 points, so that's good. Love to see when they don't go deep bids. 12 activation Boba IG-88 double bounty. I mean, that's a cool list. I like that list.
It's
Dan? Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, it's a generalist list, and that's generally the list that I tend to run myself. So, but the Rebels variant, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
And then other than IG, it had a lot of classic units in it. I mean, you had your shores, you had your mortars, snipers, 3 strike teams. You haven't seen those in a while.
A lot of Empire fundamentals right there.
Yeah. So, it's a great looking list, and I did watch the final, and he played it expertly and just played it to its strengths. But I think the Challenger, man, that came out of nowhere.
Would this be the People's Champion?
Yes, the People's Champion, Lila Clare from the UK. And the UK had a strong showing at Worlds. They had I didn't get the exact number of players, but a considerable percentage of players.
Wow.
I think it was 8 or 10 in total.
Fair amount, yeah.
Yeah, fair amount for that. But with her Pink Suns, which is Black Sun spam, like, did anyone see that coming?
I certainly didn't.
Yeah.
I thought we're still talking about the Black Sun stuff.
Right, and like I saw that list. I want to say I was playing against Ollie my first game, and that list was like right next to me, like the table right next to me, and I looked over and I was like, oh, that's an interesting list. I wonder how far that'll go. Oh, yeah. Top table. Okay, sweet.
There we go.
Pretty neat.
Oh boy. So how many games do you end up playing in your time there?
I played 6, 3-day 1, 3-day 2. Ollie, who was my round 6 opponent, I faced him round 1, and
really, boy,
he was from the UK. Great guy. Was a pleasure, playing, having that rematch game. First game nearly tabled him. That 6th game, he got me by 140 some odd points.
That's
yeah. But I like to look at it as 2 more wounds on Vader, and I'm making the top 8 cut, and he loses. So like, if I brought the game down to 2 wounds on Vader, and I made him roll, and he saved 5 of 6, round 6.
Oh wow!
So like, I brought it to Dice. Dice weren't with me. That's fine. It was a hell of a game, and he was a great opponent, and really wouldn't have changed a lot during that game, to be honest.
Okay. Well, you talked about how you were kind of expecting to fight a lot of Empire, and clearly you did. But could you walk us through your list real quick and what it's supposed to do exactly against those kind of opponents?
Sure. I brought Leia Sabine, classic Sabine, recon intel, Darksaber, prepared supplies, and situational awareness. 3 DLTs, nothing else on them. And then 3 full commando teams. Those were kind of the damage dealers, and then a hotshot pilot T-47. So nice. The idea is, round 1, I'm going to remove bikes from the table, whether you want me to or not. Is generally speaking how the list was supposed to perform, and to be honest, it did its job.
Was that your T-47's tasking, or?
Oh, the commandos in the T-47. If they saw bikes, it was like them, and then they just ran at them. From range, I should say, from range.
Yeah. Just try to get out there and pull the teeth out of those kind of lists right away.
Yeah. Like first game against Ollie, it was hemmed in, and I was red. And my commandos and my T-47 did very, very nasty things on hemmed in. Round 1, 3 bikes were a full unit of bikes was dead. 1 was completely neutered. And then another squad had 2 wounds on it. So, I mean, and I had lost a commando mini in exchange. Wow. So it was nice. It was pretty good.
Nice. When you first said hemmed in, I'm like, oh, you don't have range. Oh, wait, you're red player. So I'm assuming you just stuck them at the short edges of the board.
Yeah, and just scouted up. Round 1, I was able just to barely move a little bit and just get clear shots into bikes.
Nice.
Without like, transponders or OP, I'm kind of leaving it to the dice, but on average it's what, like 3 or 4 -1 for cover. But if he doesn't have any, then it's a straight 3 or 4 Pierce 1. They did pretty good, all things considered. Then the DLTs were there basically as the fodder, as it were, or objective gatherers. And then Leia and Sabine were there just to do Leia and Sabine things. Sabine is a very, very, I cannot say this enough, like a very underestimated unit to most. And now that Force users, they can't just hide in melee anymore. Sabine naturally surges, and she has an abundance of dodges. So it's like she's a perfect tar pit. Like she was 2-2 on killing Vader at Worlds. So
that's pretty impressive.
She's great because I'll just throw my explosions in melee, and it's like, hey, I'm going to take suppression, but guess what? So are you, and so's the rest of your army. And then pop prepared supplies. I don't take wounds. You do. So it's
sounds pretty good.
Yeah, no, overall the list is a lot of fun to play.
Nice. And Leia worked out for you too, considering we don't see a lot of Leia nowadays.
Yeah, the just her 1 pip into bikes is like chef's kiss. Like if you can do 1-2 damage into like 2 or 3 bike squadrons, follow it up with commandos just plinking off the bike before it activates, that squad's pretty much neutered, and you can kind of mop it up at your discretion almost.
Very nice. So you had 6 games. Any highlights other than facing round 1 and round 6?
My first game on day 2 was against I'm sure Dan knows David Grant. That was I saw the list and I was like, wait, is this the guy? And I was like, nah, it's not the guy. Then I looked at it is the guy.
It's the guy.
This is neat. That was a very fun game. Ended up tabling him, which I will say was surprising to me. I thought that game was going to go in 1,000 different directions than what it did. My round 5 opponent, his name is Oscar. He's from Poland, I want to say. I played him last year at Adepticon. That was a fun game. It seemed really one-sided, but then he kind of dove Maul into my backline and started contesting my boxes.
Oh, wow.
And then round 6, that would have probably been the last game. That was really, really memorable. Yeah, well, I guess my game 2 was against Kyle Dornbos. That was a fun game. He outmaneuvered his bikes away from me and basically made me chase him and hunt him down across the board, and he just was able to whittle me down. But other than that,
he's cagey, that Orchimedes.
Mm-hmm.
He's very, very cagey. That was my first time playing against him too. So it was a really fun game. Learned a lot. But yeah, that's about all the highlights that I can remember, at least, because it was only like a week ago, right?
Yeah. Trust me, I know it fades fast, but that's pretty crazy to think that you took 11th overall at a huge event, finished best in faction, and 2 wounds away from going even further. Are you psyched up for next year?
Oh, absolutely. I know locally we're kind of gearing up to hit the competitive scene, pretty hard.
Those new store championship kits are going to be out soon. So
yeah, those are going to be it'll be nice just to travel again, right? Like before COVID, where it's like, oh, hey, stores over, because I'm in Des Moines, Iowa, right? So we have Chicago, we have the Twin Cities, we have Chicago. If we really want to venture out that far, Kansas City, it's like 3 hours any which way, and we're trying to steal
an entirely different meta.
Yep, that too. it's no, it's a lot of fun. I'm kind of excited to kind of get back into the quote unquote normal swing of things. Because I got my invite back in 2019, where I won 2 firepowers and won one. I won one up in Minnesota, then I won one in Omaha.
Just for a compare and contrast exercise, do you remember what kind of list you were running when you got qualified?
Oh man, to be honest, I think it was dual full commandos, a bunch of generic rebel troopers with Z6 because that was our option.
That was it, yeah.
In those days. And then I think it was Leia Sabine for one, and then I think it was Sabine Commander Luke for the other.
Nice. Okay, so Sabine. It actually hasn't changed a whole lot for you there. I guess piloting what you know really well will carry you pretty far.
Yeah, I've been a big proponent of Sabine since she dropped. She's a lot of fun, and the list is varied. It usually starts with Sabine, and my local boys always are like, "Oh, it starts with a Sabine. Wow, that's a real big surprise there."
big stretch, buddy. No, I know one of our local guys, Jeff, would play Sabine from time to time, and she is an absolute handful. Obviously, he doesn't have as many reps as you, but still, just the mobility and the tenacity and all that stuff she brings to the Rebels is... They don't get a lot of it elsewhere, right? Just being able to stick in and, all right, deal with it. So
yeah, we don't. She's like, and this is a horrible comparison because it's nowhere near it. So it's like she's like the Vader, right? She's like, once she's there, she's there until you A, remove her, or B, you're dead.
Nice.
Imagine Vader with a jetpack.
Oh yeah, it'd be great. But he has force speed, so he's just.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
He just yeets on in there. It's fine.
And with the new climbing rules, he has to jump one anyway. So.
I guess that's the one thing at Worlds. The new rules completely altered so many of those boards because some of those boards have been carryovers from over the years, and they just could play completely differently.
Oh yeah, we had a very similar experience with it at LVO. Since LVO was the first one right after the change.
They didn't use the same tournament kits for, like, it's a different one. It's not the LVO.
Right, yeah. Since it's not a frontline gaming event, and that's frontline gaming inventory. It's but I heard Nick Bodnar, of course, the table man of Legion, Open. Had like 30 tables or something.
Yeah, because like there were quite a few tables that were like obviously brand new, than others that obviously have we've seen. And it's nice seeing like some newer tables pop up, but because of the rules, it's like, oh, this board looks great. And then you play on it, and you're like, oh, this board's really open. If you have a gun line, you win. If you don't have a gun line, I'm sorry.
Since you mentioned your strategy was trying to pop those bikes before they got in range, I'm assuming that helped you pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, oddly enough, like the boards I played on had some pretty good line of sight blocking terrain. Which is nice to see. Obviously, having a board just full of it it makes it hard to play on for anybody, to be honest. But the boards I played on, I would say, because locally I'm the guy who makes the boards for the folks and for the tournament. But I thought they were pretty balanced. The board that I played Dave Grant on had like this nice little like horseway in the middle from both sides with like canyons, quote unquote, right? Or like that you can fight through, and he flew Palpatine in, but then I activated my speeder and I completely blocked Palpatine off from the rest of everything. And so I was able to use some of the terrain to my advantage. But yeah, it was nice just to see some new tables. Not that the old ones were bad by any stretch of the imagination, because there's quite a few tables I've really enjoyed playing on over the years.
Nice. Well, it sounds pretty good overall. Was there any chance for like social outings for the Legion crew out there? You guys get together for dinner or anything?
I knew that there was a few things going on. Mainly, I just stuck with my local, 515th crew. And then I did play in the what is it? I'm trying to think of what the heck it's called. There was a narrative event on Thursday that I played in. That was a lot of fun.
Nice. I was going to say, there's a lot more games going on at those kind of things. Did you get to play anything else?
Not really. I was just.
I mean, it's a full weekend of Legion. Yeah.
I'm sure the line for Shatterpoint was wrapping around the booth, so
oh my goodness,
nobody had time for that.
They handled that pretty interestingly. You showed up early in the morning. You got a ticket when it was called. You showed up, and it was pretty organized. I was actually kind of impressed. It wasn't like, hey, just stand here and wait for 2.5 hours and maybe get in.
That's good. Yeah.
It looked pretty interesting. I didn't have time because I made D2 like a silly person.
There's videos out there. It's basically the same thing.
Just depend on my friends. Be like, hey, did you do it? Yeah, explain it to me. Well, I don't know how to explain it. Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
You're very helpful.
Exactly.
Oh darn! I made day 2.
Yeah,
right. Well, it's like I'll be perfectly honest. I hadn't played Legion for a few months leading up to Worlds because I've been taking a hiatus, and I was like, okay, I go, O2, like the old school, like you go into a regional or a store tournament. It's like O2 drop, baby. Then you just sit there and just have a beer and watch your friends play.
That's called the Outrider maneuver.
Yep, there it is. There it is. And that didn't happen. So no, it was overall it was a lot of fun.
Good. Cool. Well, obviously you've spent a lot of time with your rebels, even with a hiatus. Is there anything coming down the pipe that you're excited for, and any thoughts on the faction in general right now?
Oh, I want to see Ahsoka's command cards so bad.
Yeah.
Just as I'm sure like everybody else is. I'm really excited to see what synergy she has since that was directly called out. And then obviously the murder bears. Those are going to be interesting. And
some changes to your list.
Well, yeah, probably just a little bit. Just, I might have a list already built with Ahsoka, with a couple of things changed, removed, etc.
I'm pretty sure Sabine wasn't at Endor though, so.
That's true. I mean, as far as like the murder bears are concerned, that's its own separate like thing off in the corner that might be a pet project.
Right. It's basically a separate army entirely at that point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. It's just like, depending on what you can have in it, it's just like, all right, this is Han Solo, 1,000 murder bears and a few commandos. All right. So,
like, and Chewie and ATSD.
Yeah.
Okay,
and Chewie and ATSD.
Yeah.
That'll be very, very interesting. And I wonder if they'll have that not be battle forced. Like just have it, just have the card with the mercenary, right? Yeah. No, well,
I endorse this 100%, but I never think in a million years that'll happen.
I don't think it will happen. However, we can all hope, right?
Yes, that would be awesome.
Something. Rebellions are built on hope.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be great.
Well, no, that'd be sweet. No,
suddenly ATST new meta for all the rebels out there.
Yeah, it'd be sweet. You can have an ATST and a T-47. What's not to love?
We're fighting both sides of Hoth here. Yeah.
Hey, it's fine. You have the one that sits there and is the turret, and then you have the other one flank everything. It's fine. It's great. I see nothing wrong with this.
Just throw a little Freedom Bird rebel symbol on the side of the ATST, call it confiscated property, and just roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting for the 3D modelers to model the Chewie out of the hatch at the top.
Yeah. I'm sure that's probably already in the works.
Oh, gotta be. I want to see Chewie with like one of those little Veers command helmets on him. Just kind of perched on top. It doesn't fit. Just kind of.
It's just like just lightly, lightly sitting there. That'd be pretty good.
Oh my goodness!
Again, it's being modeled right now.
How about Bad Batch? Since that just got announced.
You know, I've been so hyped about Ahsoka that I haven't even thought about Bad Batch. But the more I think about it, it's like, ooh, that'd also be very, very fun and interesting, depending on how they do it with the cards. Yeah, I kind of want to see the cards.
Yeah.
Before I hype it up too much, just solely because they could do it Bad Batch in a couple of different ways, like how probably most of us thought like the Ghost Crew would be.
Yeah, I mean that they're gonna, however they do it, would set the framework for a squad of very individual with their own powers units. So
I mean, there's so many options for that too. You could have the rest of like the Rogue One squad. You get Baze and Chirrut out there, and there's a lot of great options for that. That'd be cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, or like, you know, how they could potentially do like a you know, the Falcon crew, you know, Battle Force, where it's like, okay, you can take XYZ amount of commanders, and you know they have adjusted, you know, stats and whatnot just to get them all in a list, which would be pretty cool. Again, probably a pipe dream, but I'll be very curious to see how they do the Bad Batch.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
But so what do you think about the general? Obviously, you teched against Empire. They're the big bugaboo right now. In general, how do you think Rebels are faring?
I think they're okay. We probably have more quote unquote bad or underutilized units than most.
True.
I know a few GAR players that may debate you on that, but
hey, you've got your infantry support platform. Get out there and use
it. they have like two things that are like, okay, we'll never take this ever, versus Rebels, where it's like, when's the last time you like saw a list with like in a competitive event fleet troopers? Or like
Pathfinders,
yeah. Or like, well, I would love to say Jyn, but get scolded for that by some, but Jyn, it's like she's good.
Can't remember the last time I saw her, but yeah,
she's good in her own way. But like, why would I ever want to take Jyn when I could take Leia and just throw 6 damage turn 1 for less points, right? Overall, I think Rebels are fine. We have our niche units, veterans. I know the Mark Blaster are veterans, and Mark II Blaster are like the staples to most Rebel lists these days. Yeah. I never really liked veterans. I know that's
how dare you?
I know that's very blasphemous. Like, I like them.
Those are my boys.
Don't get me wrong. I like them before the DLT really shined. Mm-hmm. And I think that, and mind you, I ran just a Rebel Boys with the DLT. I didn't run like with the captain and situational with like operative Luke, just because, and with 2 officers with situational awareness, or not situational awareness, vigilance. I just thought the tax of the Mark Blaster was great, but I always wanted to throw in a dish, because like last year at Not Worlds Adepticon, I ran a dish, but I didn't have veterans in that list. I just had DLT Rebels. I got 11th last year with that list too. So does that make me super consistent?
Yeah, that's what
defending your title as the 11th
this
best.
Is my place. I just realized that. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Back to back. Yeah, consistency. We did it.
There you go.
No, like veterans are fine. I just feel like the defend mechanic with them, you want to give orders to them and then obviously chain, but I don't ever want to give orders to my core almost ever. Mm-hmm. like during Worlds in those 6 rounds, I could probably count on with single hand the amount of times I actually gave orders to a core.
Wow.
And I could probably, if I thought hard enough without hurting myself, I probably could tell you at the game that it happened, because they were just in position to, do like somebody has to save our skins, where I can activate Leia, get a shot, activate the DLT for a follow-up shot, wipe the unit. It's like counterintuitive for me, the way I play Rebels, where I want to have like a hero hammer or like a special forces hammer. Like if I'm running Sabine with Clan Ren, I want to have an order on Sabine Clan Ren every round, or as many rounds as I can.
You're going to spend that amount of your list to just points devoted to it. You want to make sure you get the most out of it,
Yep.
Earn their place in the list. They're going to be half of it.
Yeah, right. It really just depends on how you want to play Rebels. Like a lot of the lists that I see, you have your heroes, you have like, your Boba, your Din Djarin, kind of like baby hero hammers. And it's like, then a bunch of veterans with blasters. And it's like, but their command cards are basically for them. How are you getting orders to your... you have to tech more into the veterans to make them have HQ uplink. And it's just, to me, if you have to spend more points to make something work, maybe you need to reanalyze what you want to do with what you have, and then make the decision like, okay, is this really worth it? Or could those points be used somewhere else to make, your heroes?
But I've already sunk all this cost into it. I got to keep going.
Right. No, and that's fair. And that's, I guess, the other, like, to go back to your question of how Rebels, there's a lot of variety, surprisingly, a lot of variety with the heroes. Because
you would think, so many damn characters.
For Rebels.
Yeah.
Like that's all, basically the only thing we have going for us. And the airspeeder, I'll be honest, the airspeeder, surge crit, throw a hotshot pilot 138, you're rolling a 3 and 3, impact 3. You throw that into like the side of a bus or another weak point, and it's like impact 4, surge to crit. All right, just turn those dice to 6 crits. You don't even need to roll dice, just 6 crits. Let's move along, please.
Compared to where the airspeeder was when you got your Worlds invite back in 19.
Oh God, 170. What was it originally? 170.
Yeah, I think 170, something like that. Yeah.
Oh man, it was so like we tried it. It was just so bad, so bad.
Back in the early days.
Yep.
Early days of Legion. I honestly think also for 130 points, it's perfectly costed, because you just sneeze at it. White armor saves, it just dies.
Yeah, if you're not careful with it, it'll just get shot out of the air. So it takes a little bit of finesse, but it can also do all the work you ask of it, and then some.
Absolutely. It's probably that and Sabine were my MVP units for Worlds. And if I had to choose one over the other, I think I'll be blasphemous. And I have the Phoenix Squadron symbol on my arm.
Nice.
I'll have to give it to the airspeeder. The airspeeder did
spicy.
It just did so much work for me. Like game against Dave Grant, I tied Vader up with Sabine. That airspeeder went back into his back line, and it wiped 2 squads of medbots before the medbots even healed anything. So it was lifting units while Sabine was just playing, glow stick battle with Vader. And they were hitting each other with pool noodles, I might add.
Just humming Duel of the Fates to themselves as they just whack away.
Yep.
This just means that you need to put a Sabine themed paint job on that T-47.
There you go.
If my painter's listening to this, his name is Kyle. Hey, Kyle, I have an idea for you.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Kyle, I have an idea for you. I'll be blasphemous. T-47's great. Sabine was great.
That's fine. You got 2 good units that it sounds like you can really build your list around, and they're reliable for what you want them to do. So everybody should have these kind of foundations to build upon.
Yeah, and that's like probably the thing, and I think you said it earlier, is reps with the list that you know, it may not be meta, but if you have enough reps with it and you're comfortable with it and you know how to play it and you try to help mold what you know against the meta, you can do a lot.
I will make it meta.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we will kill the meta and make it for our own.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just on full display through all of Worlds here with, not only the Pink Suns, but your list, the David Grant has become legendary for that. Like,
I'll tell you what, that list terrified the absolute crap out of me. Like he puts it down, and like I said, is this the guy? Nah, this isn't the guy. It's a different guy. And then
you're checking game uplink. You're like, oh, it's the guy.
Oh no, I reread his badge. Then I pulled out my phone. I was like, boop boop boop. Oh, he's that guy. I'm in danger. That was a really fun game. That honest to God, that was probably my round 6 rematch against Ollie. That was a really fun game, but that round 4 game, that was a really, really fun and enjoyable game.
Damn. Well, it sounds like you had an absolutely awesome time out there. And yeah, I could definitely tell you're ready to get out there for next year. We're about out of time for this episode, but we want to say thank you so much, Nick, for taking the time to join us today. We like to shout out where people can find you if they want to chat with you about your list or anything. You're on the Discord, right?
Yes, I am. Tyranny's my handle. Also, thank you guys for having me. It was a blast.
Oh, absolutely.
And we also, here in Des Moines, we have the 515th. It's our local Legion group. We're trying to work with a few other Midwest groups, kind of create the quote unquote Midwest coalition of sorts. You can find us on Facebook, and I believe we're going to be making our Discord available in the near future for folks to join. So.
Nice. Well, Midwesterners unite. The 515 banner is ascendant.
There it is. Absolutely.
All right, Dan, where can people find you?
And I am Outrider Dan or Dan Tech on the Discord, and usually hanging out in your Twitch streams.
Thank you, which you can find at twitch.tv/captain_archer. Don't forget, you can always email us your feedback, questions, or if you have any news about events at legionoutriders@gmail.com. Feel free to stop by the Facebook page, or otherwise, we'll see you next episode, Outriders.
This concludes the current episode of the Legion Outriders podcast. You may cultivate a tactical advantage by observing the Outriders on Facebook or Twitter at Legion Outriders. Wisdom advocates subscribing to the podcast. Acting otherwise is reckless.